Hello and welcome to cookingflavors.com. Our channel is aimed at teaching beginners the ABCs of Indian cooking. We bring to you the very basic, simple, easy to learn and cook recipes and a guide to the most essential cooking strategies. Keep watching and enjoy our recipes. For today's recipe, we look at a very interesting kara kulambu which is called a cooker kara kulambu. Basically, we are going to pressure cook this kara kulambu. Kara kulambu is a very typical kulambu that is made in every household, but this is a little different with a small twist in it. We are going to pressure cook a certain ingredients for this recipe. I've taken a pressure pan like this and I've still not switched on the stove. We'll add a few ingredients. First, I'm adding about 1 onion which I roughly chopped. Followed by the onions, I'm adding 2 tomatoes that are also roughly chopped. If you get nut the curly, well and good. Otherwise, take the ripest of tomatoes that you have. I'm just spreading that a little with my hand. Remember, I have still not switched on my stove. Now we'll add about half to 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder. Now I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of chili powder. My chili powder also contains coriander powder. So if you have them separately, for every 1 tablespoon of chili powder, add 2 tablespoons of coriander powder. You can also add Kulambu milagai tool here if you want to, but I've tried both. I like the taste better with the chili powder. I'm adding the required amount of salt. Now we'll sprinkle a little bit of water, not too much, and we'll slightly mix them with our hand. Remember, mixing it with your hand always gives the best flavor to your dish. So I'm gently mixing them so that the chili powder, turmeric powder, they mix well with the onions and the tomatoes. Here I'm just adding about a quarter cup of water, not too much. If you look, they're just partially immersed in water. Because tomatoes will also give out a lot of water while cooking, so don't add too much of water. Now I've taken some tamarind about the size of a small lemon. You can increase it depending upon the quantity of kulambu that you want. Now I'll be adding it in this pressure cooker itself to pressure cook the tamarind. We'll see how we do that. I've taken a small tumbler like this. You can take any cup or anything like that which fits well into your pressure pan. Now I'm adding this tamarind into the tumbler and adding just enough water for the tamarind to immerse completely, as you can see. And now I'm placing it in the pressure cooker. Basically, we are going to pressure cook the tamarind as well. Now I've covered it with a lid and we'll allow this to cook for about 4 whistles. After 4 whistles, we'll come back. After 4 whistles, I switched off the stove, opened the lid and allowed it to cool. Now you can see this is how the tamarind pulp will look like. We'll keep that aside. I've taken a flat spatula or karandi like this and we'll slightly smash down the onions and the tomatoes. You need not use a masher because it's already cooked very well. Just a spatula will do, and I'm mashing it well. You can see traces of onions and tomatoes here. I like it that way, but if you don't want it that way, you can smash it down completely. Now we'll add the tamarind extract. I'm using a spoon to mix it well to bring out the maximum extract because it's hot. If it's completely cooled down, you can use your hand. So we'll just give that a quick mix. Now I'm adding the juice into this kulambu. Make sure when you're adding the juice, let the pulp not fall into it. But accidentally if it falls, there's nothing to worry. Check for tanginess and adjust the tamarind juice according to your taste. Now we'll stir that well. Check for salt also at this point in time. Now that this mixture is ready, we'll keep that aside and we'll do the seasoning. I've taken a heavy bottom kadai and added about 3 tablespoons of sesame seed oil. You can also use regular cooking oil. I'm adding about a teaspoon of mustard seeds. As I told you, sesame seed oil tastes very good with any kara kulambu, but you can also use regular cooking oil. We'll add about a teaspoon of cumin seeds and then about half a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds. We'll saute that a little. Now along with the seasoning, I'm going to add a few appalam pieces. This is just raw appalam. I've broken 2 appalams into small pieces. I like the taste of appalam in my kara kulambu. You can also use sundaka vattal or manattakali vattal here, or you can just avoid all these things. You can eat it plain also, but I like a little appalam in my karakorambu. We'll fry that a little and then we'll add the curry leaves. After they splutter, we'll add a lot of cloves of garlic. You can always increase garlic and curry leaves according to your taste. We'll fry that all well. Now we'll transfer the prepared korambu mixture into this kadai and we'll stir it well. Check for salt here again at this point because after the seasoning the salt might have reduced. So add salt accordingly. We'll stir that all well. This dish tastes best with a lot of oil, but you can always use your discretion with regards to oil. Now you can see this korambu looks a lot liquidy. Generally kara korambu is a little bit on the liquidy side, but this kara korambu is best eaten when it is a little thick. So we'll reduce this completely and this will take about 10 to 12 minutes on medium to high heat. We'll wait for this to reduce. Now as you can see, I put the first 5 minutes on medium heat and the balance 7 to 8 minutes on high heat. The korambu has reduced a lot. You can see how liquidy it was and how thick it has become. This is the consistency that we are looking at. You can switch off the stove at this point in time. You can eat this kara korambu with your rice with a teaspoon of ghee. For today's lunch, I made this kara korambu, and to go with this kara korambu, I made a very simple gos or a cabbage poriyal. This kara korambu goes also very well with idlis and dosas, but it goes perfectly well with idlis. Do try out this different kind of kara korambu. That is what I fondly call it as cooker kara korambu. This is one of my favorite dishes. Hope you enjoyed this video today. Do try it out and post in your comments and suggestions. Hit the like button and keep encouraging us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us at cookingflavors.com for detailed recipe with tips and suggestions. Follow us on Google+. Thank you and see you again with a new and interesting recipe.